I've thoroughly enjoyed nearly every single Mario game I've played. Everything from the 3D Mario games like Mario Odyssey to the 2D games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Even the spin-offs like Mario Kart Wii and Mario Party 6 I loved. The selection of modern mainline Mario games is no exception. Games like Super Mario 3D World and New Super Mario Bros. Are wonderful games. However, there is one exception to this. One Mario game that is so unoriginal, so boring, and so easy that I've come to strongly dislike the game. This, of course, is New Super Mario Bros. 2. Welcome to my review of New Super Mario Bros. 2. I hope you enjoy it. As soon as you boot up the game for the first time, you'll notice there are only 3 modes: solo play, co-op play, and coin rush. This shows that it only has one mode outside of the main adventure, which is disappointing given that the DS and Wii had 2 other modes, and you had 3 other modes, so this is the lowest amount of modes in the series. However, this could easily be redeemed. Maybe the main adventure and side mode are just really strong to make up for that. Let's start with the main adventure, specifically solo play. As soon as we start up a new file, we get to see the story, or lack of one. But I'll just summarize this opening cutscene in 6 words. Peach was kidnapped, Go saved her. But Gaming, it was actually the Koopalings that kidnapped her this time instead of Bowser, therefore this is a very original story. And to that I say, it doesn't actually matter, it's basically the exact same still. To be fair though, New Super Mario Bros. Games are known for having very weak stories, so I won't hold this against the game specifically, but more against the New Super Mario Bros. Series as a whole. The gameplay starts off in World 1, which is a very typical grassy starting area. Again, the basic world theming is something that applies to the entire New Super Mario Bros. Series, so I won't hold it against this game specifically to try to be as fair as possible. However, just know I still consider these last 2 things I mentioned a problem, even if I don't call them out for the rest of this video. I will actually admit that 1-1 is a pretty creative version of 1-1. It uses a lot of music blocks, giving us a more gimmicky 1-1 which I appreciate. However, there's one thing in this level that's a bit odd. In New Super Mario Bros. Wii and U, the first level introduces the game's new main power-ups, being the propeller and acorn mushrooms respectively. However, in this game, the first level just simply gives you a fire flower. But this isn't a huge deal. I'm sure they'll introduce the new main power-up to us in 1-3 after the infamous Underground 1-2, right? Right? 1-2 is your very traditional World 1 Underground level. It does give us our first of the 3 appearances of the Mega Mushroom, however, which is required to take a Mega Mushroom pretty far in the level for a star coin, which I think is a bit of a stupid placement, given if you're exploring the area you won't make it to the star coin in time. Time for 1-3, where we will be introduced to the main new power-up in this game. Let's just get to the first item box, and the Super Leaf? That's odd. Are you telling me that there isn't a new main power-up in this game? Yep, that's exactly what it is. What were they thinking? And before you say anything, yes, I know New Super Mario Bros. DS also doesn't have an original power-up, and I didn't like it there either. But it's at least excusable there, since that was the first entry in the series that was just trying to be a newer version of New Super Mario Bros. What's this game's excuse? The New Super Mario Bros. Game prior to this one had a main power-up and people loved it. Okay, calm down there, Gaming. I'm seriously baffled as to why they did this. I get the Super Leaf is nostalgic for people, and I'll admit it is a pretty fun power-up, but even then New Super Mario Bros. DS introduced 3 new power-ups. New Super Mario Bros. 2 just gives us 1 new boring power-up that's only required for like 2 levels. But I'll hold off from talking about that for right now. But oh wait, I'm supposed to be talking about 1-3 still. It's a pretty enjoyable level. It does a great job introducing the Super Leaf while also encouraging exploration to find the star coins. However, I never really could get my mind off how baffling the decision to make the Super Leaf the main power-up here was whenever I played this level, so I don't really notice the good level design here. 1-Tower is a fun level. It is a fun climb up to the top, even though it is pretty basic for a tower level. However, I don't like how you have to randomly choose the correct split path to get the first star coin. This level is also home to our first secret exit. which is actually a well-hidden reference to New Super Mario Bros. DS. The boss of this level is Reznor. I actually like this boss, given it's a one-time fight. And even though it's unoriginal since it's from Super Mario World, I still enjoy the fight and the reference. The fight is ridiculously easy, but that's understandable given it's the first boss of the game. It's around this time where you'll be entering your first 1-up house, which is home to pretty fun minigames. You'll have to hit a boxing glove on your head to get 1-ups to try to get as many 1-ups as possible. It's unfortunate that this is the only Toad House minigame in the game, unlike the other games in the series, but that's just a minor nitpick. I won't be mentioning the Toad Houses for the rest of the game since they are all the same. Next up we have the first of the cannon levels, 1-Cannon. I actually really enjoy these levels. Basically, a cannon launches you to very fast speeds and you have to jump at the right times with obstacles in your way to make it to World Mushroom. This is obviously the easiest of the bunch since it's the first world, but it's still pretty enjoyable. However, one critique I have with these cannon levels is that they're a bit too easy if you have a Super Leaf, since it's really easy to get to the end of the P meter since Mario is auto-running. To be fair though, this is somewhat of a nitpicky criticism. 1-4 is the first of the sky levels in this game, which I'm generally a fan of. This level is no exception. This level's gimmick is dancing mushrooms. I know that sounds weird, but that's the best way I can explain it. I have no problems with this level, I'll even admit it worked well with the Super Leaf. However, it's about time I rant about this game's difficulty. Platforming on this game is already on the easier side, which in itself is fine enough, I guess. All the new Super Mario Bros. Games have at least somewhat easy platforming. But what really is the cherry on top here is the crazy amount of coins here. See, 1-4 introduced us to the coin ring, which gives you coins for basically everything. Killing enemies, trailing Koopa shells, and more. It's a cool idea, but with this game's entire gimmick being coins, there is one question. Why do you still get 1-ups for every 100 coins? It works for the other 2D Mario games, but since this game's entire gimmick is coins, it leads you to having way too many lives. Like seriously, I had 44 lives by the time I finished 1-4 in my live playthrough of this game. Which, by the way, you guys should definitely watch the live streams I do on this YouTube channel. I promise you won't be disappointed. Anyways, that's enough ranting, onto 1-5. It's an underwater level. In theory, it's a well-designed level with some intense moments, however, I'm just not huge on underwater levels in general. I like to be able to go through the levels at my own pace. However, underwater levels don't really allow for me to do that as the top speed is pretty slow. I enjoy power-ups like the frog suit and penguin suit for helping with that, but unfortunately they don't appear in this game. However, the underwater levels are always slow-paced and boring in the 2D Mario games, so I won't be holding this game in particular against that. 1-A is an interesting enough level with a few gimmicks, the first one being the sewer areas from New Super Mario Bros. DS, which I enjoy quite a bit. There are also quite a lot of pipes in this level, some of which launch you upwards. The level's pretty fun, the only thing I don't enjoy about it being the last star coin blocked behind an invisible block. 1-Castle is next, and this level has some cool rope section, and thwomps as its main gimmick. I enjoy close to all the castle levels, and this is no exception. The song in the castle is pretty cool, but it's also literally copied from Wii with an addition of a few boss. The boss here is Roy, which they messed up in this game. He literally just runs at you as his only gimmick, and the walls slowly move closer to you, making a smaller arena, but it's still a pretty easy fight. However, this does mean the bosses in this game will once again be the Koopalings, which I'm personally fine with as I like the Koopalings, but I can see the argument of how it's annoying to see them as the main bosses again. Anyways, after 2.5 pages of script, I'm finally done with World 1. The rest of this video will be more quickly paced, as I had a lot to talk about here. First up on World 2 we have, well, 2-1, obviously. This level has a big emphasis on moving blocks as well as introducing you to the quickstand. It's a pretty meh level, but hey, it's time for more ranting. This level is the first of very few to require the one new power-up in this game for a star coin. And that power-up is a golden fire flower? Are you actually kidding me? This is the one new power-up in this game, just a copy-paste of the fire flower, but it turns everything into coins. That's an embarrassment of a new power-up. And get this, it's the only new power-up in the entire game. Why, Nintendo? Why? Okay, let me explain in a more calm manner. Not having a new main power-up is bad enough on its own, but it can be made up for. For example, New Super Mario Bros. DS main power-up is the Fire Flower, but it still introduced 3 new power-ups, one being the Blue Shell, which is one of my favorite Mario power-ups to date. But this game's only new power-up is just a lame, overpowered rip-off of the Fire Flower, and all it does is add to the coin gimmick. Seriously, they really needed to make 1,000 coins for a 1-up. With gold rings, gold blocks on Mario's head, and this power-up, it's hard not to get a 1-up in this level. Next up is 1-2. This level has an interesting theme, being another sky level with a lot of bird-like statues within the level. As for the level design itself, it's fine enough. It's nothing crazy. Next up is 2-3, which is an underground desert level with a lot of pokies and moving lifts. It's a fine enough level. I don't love it and I don't hate it. 2-A is a fun one. It uses the same theme as 2-2. This level is about jumping between lifts that are quickly moving on a track. This makes the star coins in this level actually somewhat difficult to collect, which is appreciated. If only more of the levels had a difficulty more similar to this level. 2 Tower is yet another fun and interesting tower level with a lot of moving blocks. I gotta say, the tower and castle levels in this game seem to be bangers pretty consistently. But let's see what the boss for this tower is. It's Reznor. Wait, again? Okay, I'm not gonna yell at Nintendo for this one. But they're consistently amazing me at how much unoriginality they can fit into a single game. Ooh, this time there's 4 Reznors instead of 2, therefore this is such a challenging fight, an original boss fight. No, it's not. It just simply isn't an original fight. Even if every Reznor fight is slightly more challenging than the last, it's still a Reznor fight nonetheless. Plus, all the Reznor boss fights are still pretty easy. I'm not a fan of this, but other New Super Mario Bros. Games have a similar level of unoriginality when it comes to the bosses, so I can't complain too much, I guess. Next up we have 2-Ghost House. I don't generally like Ghost House because they just try to trick you and make you take a lot of trial and error to get the 3 star coins and the secret exit, which can just be annoying. This one in particular actually isn't that bad though. It's about a huge book following you around in an auto-scroll for the entire level. Yeah, an auto-scroll is what I consider a good Ghost House level, so it's going to be very fun to cover these. However, the secret exit is unfortunately blocked behind a hidden block vine, making the level a good bit worse in my opinion. 2-4 is next and actually a pretty interesting level. It was designed kind of like a pyramid, giving you a lot of potential to explore. However, the second star coin is really stupid, forcing you to walk in between semi-solids. There's really no way to know the star coin is going to be there, making it really annoying to find. Besides that, I actually quite enjoy this level though. 2-5 is next, and this level relies on having a lot of chain chomps, which I actually quite like. Chain chomps are a good enemy in my opinion. They are difficult enough to where they aren't a breeze to get past, but they also aren't just unfair and annoying. So I think this level is decently fun. 2-B is an interesting level. There are bob-ombs on parachutes everywhere. There are little volcano things so you can explode on the top of the bob-ombs to get some secrets. It's a cool level, and I also quite enjoy the 3rd star coin where you have to jump off a bob-omb in midair. Another enjoyable, challenging star coin. 2-Castle is a fun castle level where you're on a lift and have to avoid a bunch of obstacles. Even though this is an auto-scroller level, I actually quite like this one as 2nd and 3rd star coins can be quite hard to collect if you don't have a super leaf. The boss in this level is Iggy, which is a boss fight that unfortunately just copied from Wii. However, it's still a really fun boss fight. Basically, there's a chain chomp on a track that guides Iggy on where to go in the arena, making this boss fight completely unique to any of the other Koopaling fights. Pretty fun level and topped off with a cool boss fight, even if it's copied from Wii. On to World Mushroom. Mushroom Dash 1 is kinda cool but also kinda basic. It's made up of a bunch of colored semi-solids, and most of the level doesn't have too much to it. However, the 3rd star coin and secret exit are fun, as to get them you have to bounce off of 2 Koopas to get to the top of a group of semi-solids. Unfortunately though, the secret exit is locked behind a hidden block up there, so if you don't know where it's at, you might struggle to find it. Next up is Mushroom Dash 2, which is an underwater auto-scroller, and it surprisingly isn't the worst level in the game. We'll get to that level in a bit. However, this level still absolutely isn't fun to play at all. Its main gimmick is the urchins, but I actually never think about that because of how boring an underwater auto-scroller is. Mushroom Dash 1 acts as the tower level in this world, kind of, since there isn't a tower in this world. It was based off around the spiky balls on an icy ground, so it's easy to accidentally hit them. It's a pretty fun level in my opinion, but nothing crazy. This is where I ended my first of 5 live streams of this game, so if you enjoyed this video so far, make sure to like and subscribe, as there will be a lot more videos like this coming. Anyways, Mushroom Dash Ghost House as well. Definitely a ghost house. It's designed to trick you. If you don't go through the correct doors and paths, star coins and secret exits are blocked from you. Oh, and by the way, every ghost house has a secret exit. Like, literally all of them. I don't personally like the ghost house because they just end up being more annoying than anything else for me. This one in particular is no exception. There are a lot of rooms that have nothing in it, lots of rooms with hidden music, blocking things, and in the end, choose a path section, where if you choose the wrong path, you lose access to a star coin and the secret exit. Mushroom Dash B is an auto-scroller that's designed around climbing up vines. It might sound boring, but I actually consider the level to be pretty fun because the star coins all have good spots. They do want you to find hidden blocks and vines to find them, but since this level is designed around those, it's alright. Plus, I don't think a lot of those are actually necessary since it's a vertical level. Mushroom Dash Cannon is another fun cannon level, introducing you to the mandatory enemy bounces, which we'll see a lot more of in the later cannon levels. Mushroom Dash 3 is an underground temple level that's yet another auto-scroller. This one definitely didn't need to be an auto-scroller, and it kind of ruins the level for me. The auto-scroll makes the level boring mostly, even though it makes the third star coin cool because you have to be fast to collect it. Oh, and by the way, at the checkpoint, the game gives you 4 fire flowers for some reason, because 4 of them was definitely necessary. Mushroom Dash Castle is a fun level, with a huge spike ball destroying the ground. There are also Womps and Thwomps in this level. Womps in a 2D Mario game? Wow, actually something kinda cool about the new Super Mario Bros. 2. The second star coin is a bit misleading as it's past the pipe to get to the checkpoint, and since I saw you could continue going to the right, I thought the pipe was the secret, and the right was the intended path, but I was wrong. The boss here is Larry, which is basic but still a fun fight. Larry doesn't really have a gimmick, and the only stage hazard is some moving walls, so it ends up being the most basic Koopaling fight, which I'm fine with. Overall, World Mushroom is a pretty cool world. B-1 is the first of the beach levels we'll see in this world. It's nothing crazy. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's a pretty neutral level for me. It has some barrel platforms that stink if you stand on them for too long, and the level has plenty of cheap cheeps, but it's nothing crazy in terms of level design. B-2 is an underwater level, with also a lot of random pipe shows to check in case of secrets, so that's fun. This level also introduces the tornadoes, which is just button mashing to get out of them. This gimmick is at best mediocre because of how easy the mashing is, and at worst extremely annoying because it does nothing but waste my time. However, there is a cool moment in this level where there are multiple wait, what are these purple cheap cheeps called? Spiny cheap cheeps keep chasing you at once. Also having an indirect star coin there, so it's fun in an intense section. Besides this section, the level is pretty boring though. 3-A is another underwater level with the gimmick of rushing water. It has a lot of split paths at the start, and if you don't choose the right paths you could miss a star coin. However, I actually like that gimmick here because it's a rewarding a fast reaction time instead of just a lucky yes. The second half of the level is more about avoiding enemies, so overall this is one of the better underwater levels in my opinion. 3-3 is a pretty cool level. Its gimmick is spider webs as well as the spider enemies. You have the ability to climb the spider webs, making this a cool platforming challenge. The spider webs disappear after climbing on them for more than about a second, but they'll respawn after a few seconds. New Super Mario Bros. DS also had this gimmick, but I think it works a lot better here because of the Super Leaf. Also, this is the first level in the game to have a forest song, so that's cool. Overall, I enjoyed this level quite a bit. 3-Dash Tower is an underwater tower level with a bunch of skewers. It's also an auto-scroller. It's nothing crazy. I don't hate the level, but it's also not the best. But a funny thing happened at this level. If you use all the red mushroom houses up to this point, it's literally impossible to get the secret exit until progressing further into the world. This is because the secret exit requires a mini mushroom, which is not provided in this level. Luckily, there's an easy mini mushroom grinding level later in the world, so if you're stupid and wasting all the toad houses like me, don't worry, you'll be fine. But anyways, it's time for the boss of this tower. Oh, come on! This is literally the same exact fight as in World 2, so it's more than a little underwhelming. But whatever, I guess. Not sure what I expected to see. 3-4 is yet another forest theme level. The theming of the world kinda switched from beach to forest. This one starts off with some sinking crates that sink into the points that if you stand on them for too long, as well as some wigglers. The rest of the level focused on rising poison, which is a pretty fun gimmick. For example, the second star coin is very low in the level, so it becomes like a timer challenge to see if you can get the star coin and run all the way back in time of the poison rising again. Overall, this is a pretty fun and enjoyable level. And by the way, there is a secret exit here requiring you to keep the super leaf, so make sure not to lose that. 3-B is a pretty cool level. Basically, it gives you a mini mushroom, and the level relies on the gimmick where the mini mushroom can run over water. There are two paths to this one with no auto-scroll, and one with a fast auto-scroll. However, the one with the fast auto-scroll has all the star coins. The level is very fun, and one of the most unique levels in the entire game. This is definitely one of my favorite levels in this game, as I wish more levels used the creative power of gimmicks like this level does. 3-Cannon has some more required enemy bounces, once again a fun level. The cannons will kinda just always be fun levels because of their difficulty, and despite how unique they are. 3-Ghost House is another annoying ghost house level. This one relies on picking a door, which can lead to you missing star coins if you don't pick the right door. At least the secret exit this time is something that anyone can get, just as long as you didn't lose your super leaf. 3-5 is quite possibly the worst level in the entire game. It mixes underwater with the most annoying enemy in the entire game, bloopers. Actually, Lakitus might be more annoying, at the very least bloopers are in the top 2. It makes this level both boring and annoying, and not fun at all. Not even the star coins are entertaining. They just rely on a rock destroying the blocks to get the star coin, and since you can't even control the rock, it just makes the level even more slow-paced. 3-Castle is a fun, interesting level with the gimmick of saws being literally everywhere. I know it's not a crazy gimmick, but the quantity of them makes it hard to avoid them sometimes. The boss here is Wendy, which has the gimmick of making the area underwater occasionally, where you can't damage her. The funny part is, though, you can just damage her before she summons the water on each phase, so she doesn't even do anything. The boss is alright, I guess. I've never personally been a huge fan of it. Overall, I'm very mixed on World 3. It has some of my least favorite levels in the game with the underwater levels, but also some of my favorite levels in the game with the jungle levels and the mini mushroom level. I've always liked the snow worlds in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and this one's no exception. 4-1 is built around falling spike rock things sliding off of slopes, which definitely isn't the most interesting gimmick we've ever seen, but it does the job. It's a pretty basic level overall. I don't love it, and I don't hate it. Time for 4 Ghost House, and what's this? An actual fun and well-designed Ghost House level? Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, this level revolves around an auto-scroller, but the auto-scroller is controlled by 2 walls controlled by boosts, so the auto-scroll moves left to right. This makes the star coin and secret exits in this level pretty fun, as you have to get them under a time limit, and while exploring the small area to see if there are any secret hiding spots, I actually like the level quite a bit, even though it's hard to get squished multiple times while playing this level. 4-B is a cool level with the enemies that I think are called zappers. I mean amps while in an icy underground cave. Unlike Mario Kart, the slippery ice physics in this game are actually fun. This level also takes advantage of slips to make it even more likely that you take damage from the amps that shock you that could potentially lead you to death. Pretty fun level. 4-2 is a pretty basic snow level with a lot of pipes with piranha plants. There's not really much else I can personally say about it, it's just really another level. 4-A is just a level with the gimmick of bouncing mushrooms. It's a pretty fun level, similar to most other athletic levels. And by the way, look at how good the background of this level looks for this game's standards. It actually looks pretty nice. Anyways, the last star coin of this level is pretty cool. You ground pound the question mark block to see a mini mushroom in a currently inaccessible spot. But you follow it and you eventually reach a point where you can actually collect the mini mushroom as it gets access to the last star coin. Overall, this is a pretty cool level. 4-Tower is a cool auto-scroller vertical level with a lifting platform. Similar to the last tower, this tower has a star coin that requires a mini mushroom, but now there are levels to provide them, so it's not bad here. But it's a pretty fun level. Nothing crazy, but it's enjoyable. Anyways, time for the boss, and hey, it's an actually unique Reznor fight this time. Yep, that's how low my expectations are now. I'm excited for a variation of the Reznor fight. This time, there is no ground, so you have to use the other blocks and Reznors aren't on the ground. By the way, someone told me if I killed them with a fireball they'd like and subscribe, and you should too! 4-3 is yet another icy level with a lot of slopes. It's pretty basic in theory, but I just enjoy sliding down the slopes at fast speeds in icy levels, I don't know why. Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to collect all the star coins in this level originally, making me really surprised to see I didn't 100% my save file, which was kinda funny. 4-C is an underground cave level, with its main gimmick being the quantity of the fuzzies. They can be very hard to avoid sometimes because of just how many of them there are. On top of this level has some cool secrets where you have to get past big fuzzies. Overall, I think this is a pretty cool level. 4-4 is the gimmick of lift platforms attached to each other with a scale-like attribute. If Mario stands on one of the lifts, it goes down, and if the lift goes too far down, both the platforms will fall. This makes for a pretty interesting gimmick where you have to try and raise the platforms while also being careful not to have the platforms fall, leading you to your death. 4-5 is a very traditional underwater level, probably the most traditional one we've seen thus far in the game. I don't know why, but it feels like Nintendo put a lot of basic levels in this game in the snow world, and the snow theme is a pretty cool world. Overall, this level is pretty mediocre and boring, but it's just an underwater level, what do you expect? 4-Dash Castle is a pretty cool level. The level's gimmick is spike balls combined with snake blocks. In the first half of the level, the spike balls are dropping on you from the snake blocks, and in the second half, there's more spikes to avoid. It's a fun gimmick, especially the first half. Also, I like how at the start they use a spike that can't get out of the snake block as a visual decoration. Cool little detail. Anyways, the boss here is Morden, and his gimmick is that he shoots fireballs out of his wand. Arena is also designed with spike balls rolling down slopes in mind. It's a cool little boss fight, but nothing crazy compared to what we have seen and will see. Anyways, this is where I ended my second of 5 live streams of this game. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Lowlights starts off similar to a world mushroom, with a lot of pipes. The only major difference is this level has a nice looking mountain setting. The secret exit is pretty cool here, but also kind of obscure, so I don't know exactly how to feel about it. Basically there's a question mark block that you have to hit, and it will start flying, but if you jump on top of it and ride it, it will take you to the secret exit. Besides that, it's a cool enough level. Hidden pipes aren't overused here, so that's good. Lowlights is an underground ice cave level with an auto-scroll platform that you have to stay on. There are quite a lot of buzzy beetles and spike tops in this level. Overall, it's a fine enough level, even though the auto-scroller definitely doesn't help this level for me personally, since it's slow while also being a pretty easy level. Lowlights Cannon is probably my favorite cannon level in this game. It relies on you bouncing off of bombs while also avoiding all the amps in your way. It's genuinely very challenging, and that's what I love about it. It's a very fun level for me to play every single time. Lowlights Ghost House is actually a pretty fun ghost house. It doesn't really try to trick you too much, and also reintroduces the Big Boo all the way back from 2-Dash Ghost House. The second star coin here is really cool. So basically once you reach the top of the level, the game has you collecting a star, and all the blocks turn into coins, dropping you all the way to the bottom of the level. However, there is a star coin on the far left of the screen, so if you don't react fast enough, you'll miss it. The secret exit also uses a similar hiding spot, but it's also not obviously visible, forcing you to hug the right wall. Lowlights B gives a bad first impression as it starts with a Lakitu. However, it actually isn't that bad since there are only 2 Lakatus throughout the entire level, and one of them makes you throw coins using the coin ring. And only one of the star coins forces you to use Lakitu to go high in the air, and that one clearly hints for you to go in that direction with coins. The other 2 coins are fun platforming challenges. Overall, I surprisingly kind of enjoyed this level. Lowlights 2 is another jungle level. This time there's a Porcupuffer that jumps out of the poison, which makes the second star coin really challenging to get as you have to move on a moving platform over to the star coin. This level also has a lot of spider enemies that I enjoy, similar to the other jungle levels so far. Overall, this is a pretty good level, but nothing crazy, but sometimes it's better to have a level more on the basic side. Lowlights 3 starts off as a basic level, but then becomes a cool athletic themed level. It has a lot of bouncy mushrooms, similar to some of the other athletic levels we've seen so far. However, the second part of this level once again uses the mini mushrooms as its gimmick. This time it's a gimmick to bounce off the enemies without hurting them. This leads to a very cool and also pretty challenging section, which is always appreciated in an easy game like this. Well, at least mostly. I don't think this level is quite as cool as the other mini mushroom level, but overall, it probably still makes my top 10 favorite levels in this game. The mini mushroom is really an actual pretty cool power-up. People just don't like it because it's used specifically for secrets, and these two mini mushroom levels prove it. Flower Dust Castle is a pretty cool level with a lot of bob-ombs. On top of this, there are also a lot of conveyor belts. This makes for an interesting level, as star coins are very fun to collect. For example, the first star coin requires you to break a block with a bob-omb, and then throw another bob-omb to actually collect the star coin. But in the second half of this level, you get introduced to the best thing in all of existence. Lemmy balls! No, not in that way. I mean the bouncy balls Lemmy throws in his boss fights. They're also used for the level design here as well as forcing you to avoid them for the third star coin, which is really fun to do. And as for the actual boss fight with Lemmy, it's honestly a bit underwhelming compared to the Wii, but still really cool. This is because even though this is in theory a great boss fight, with avoiding bouncing off Lemmy balls while being worried about the conveyor belt, you can just jump on his head. It's not necessarily actually bouncing on his balls like it is in Wii. Either way, Lemmy will always reign supreme as the best Koopaling, and you can't tell me otherwise. Overall, World Flower is slightly better than World Mushroom in my opinion, having no levels I dislike, as well as another mini mushroom level and the privilege of Lemmy existing. This world is the Sky World. Hopefully it keeps the fun gimmicks of the athletic levels that we've seen so far. 5-1 is a good start to this, being a gimmick based off ropes that you can jump off and go higher than you would with a normal jump. This level is pretty cool and I like the level design here quite a bit. However, there is one part of this level that I don't like. You have to find an invisible block to get into a sub-area with a coin. These kinda suck to begin with, since it's impossible to know when they are if you haven't looked them up. However, the reason I dislike this so much is because there's another hidden block that you have to find to get to the secret exit of this level. And this hidden block is in the sub-area that you access by finding a hidden block. I find that pretty lame, but I mean that's kind of a nitpicky complaint. This is still a pretty cool level. 5-2 as well, not super fun. Remember on Flower-B just a minute ago when I said it wasn't that bad despite being a Lakitu level? Well, Nintendo realized this, so they had to make a real Lakitu level here. And it's so unfun and just as annoying as your average Lakitu level. Let's go! Plus 2 of the 3 star coins here are just randomly scattered pipes in the air, so those can be really fun to look for sometimes. I'm joking if it wasn't obvious. Overall, the level kinda sucks to be honest. 5 Ghost House isn't too bad for a ghost house, but it also isn't that good of a level regardless. The reason for that is because star coins are pretty easy to find, as it's a somewhat linear level. By the way, this is a side note, but why is Mario climbing up these poles look so weird to me? Like, I don't understand why, but it looks wrong to me. Anyways, back to the level. The annoying part here is finding a secret exit, which is on the ceiling of the level. The problem I have here is that you won't find the secret exit unless you're specifically looking for it. 5-A is an alright level with a golden airship. The star coin's secret exit aren't anything crazy. There's really not too much I can say about this level, it's honestly just pretty boring to me. 5-3 is a somewhat interesting level about launching pipes. I mean, this is in theory a cool level, but really they overdo it here to the point where it's kinda just the entire level. I mean, I'm not kidding, all 3 star coins are accessed by launching out of a pipe. I mean, one of those you need a mini mushroom to collect it, but it still counts as launching out of a pipe for a star coin. Overall, this level would be pretty good, but since the launching pipes is the entire level, it's pretty average for me. 5 Tower is a pretty fun level. It's kind of an auto-scroller, but it's still really cool. Basically, it has you climbing on the fences that split up, as well as the rising lava, making the star coins here surprisingly difficult, as if you mess them up, you'll fall into the lava and die. All of the star coins also require you to act quickly, as if you don't, the star coins will be submerged in lava. Overall, I like this level quite a lot, and it may be my favorite tower level in this game. Anyways, the boss fight here is once again Reznor, no surprises here. The weird part here for me is that this fight is actually somehow easier than the one in World 4, since here there is a platform to stand on, even if it's 2 rotating block sets to avoid. 5-4 is a cool athletic level with the gimmick of weight mushrooms. I doubt that's actually what they're called, but I'm just gonna go with it. Anyways, in this level, if you stand on one of these mushrooms, it'll either go up or down depending on which mushroom it is. This is a pretty fun level. I mean, one of the star coins relies on you standing on the mushroom that raises you into a different sub-area, which is usually something I would complain about, but it'd be pretty hard not to find this, so I'll give it a pass this time. Overall, this is a pretty solid level. 5-5 use snake blocks as well, but a lot of bullet bill blasters. Overall, it's nothing crazy, but I enjoyed it. Again, sometimes the levels that aren't super gimmicky are appreciated. Oh yeah, and also my controller died here somehow. But yeah, overall I enjoyed this level, forcing you to randomly jump onto the bill blaster you see when you enter the level. It's nothing crazy, but something you likely wouldn't find unless you were trying to find it. 5-6 is the only real mountain level in this game. Flower Dash 1 kinda counts, but not really. And it has a lot of big piranha plants. It's honestly a bit of a weird level for me. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It kinda just feels like Nintendo didn't know how to fit a mountain level into this game, so they just kinda threw this one together. It doesn't use any of the gimmicks from the mountain levels in the previous two New Super Mario Bros. Games like the Legends and DS, which is a bit disappointing. Overall, this level is fine. 5-Dash Castle is a really fun castle level, once again using the fences as a gimmick, but this time in a more linear, horizontal level design. And it's once again a very fun and difficult level, even though I probably slightly prefer 5-Dash Tower to this one, at least not including the boss fight. Either way though, it's still really cool and might get into my top 10 levels in this game with all the good level design and star coin placements this level has. And the boss here, Ludwig, is probably my favorite boss fight in the game. Basically there are 5 pipes that launch you upwards, and Ludwig hanging on a chain and riding it around. Your job is to hit him while he's still moving so that he falls and jumps onto your head. On top of this already really cool boss fight idea, this boss fight is designed similar to the Super Mario Odyssey boss fights with lots of skips to make the fight easier for more advanced players. You are able to wall jump if you have a super leaf and hit him if he's in a certain position without entering any of the pipes to begin with, saving some time. And if you're good enough and don't have a super leaf, you can launch straight to him, hitting on top of his head from the pipes and skip the whole part where he falls down and you have to hit him. Overall, this is a really cool boss fight. And I think this world as a whole lives up to the expectations that I gave of it at the start of this world. It's a really cool world with lots of fun levels, at least besides the lack of 2 level. Anyways, this is where I ended my 3rd of 5 live streams in this game, so again, make sure to like and subscribe. I know reminding y'all so much gets boring, but people forget if I don't remind them multiple times throughout the video. Especially given this is an hour-long video, I kind of have to remind you guys multiple times, so sorry about that. This is the final main game world and the lava world of this game. I generally enjoy these worlds quite a bit, so let's hope that this one delivers as well. 6-1 is the traditional meteor level that every one of these new Super Mario Bros. Games has. I know a lot of people here hate these levels, but I actually enjoy them. I know they're BS, but that's what makes them fun in my opinion. Even though I will say I think the quantity of the meteors is a bit too high, like they're everywhere and at some points you can basically be forced to take damage. On top of this, for this particular level, 3rd star coin is found from a vine from an invisible block, which is never fun to see. So overall, this level is a good gimmick with a very mid-execution in my opinion. Oh, and by the way, it's actually good looking game quality finally. 6-S Ghost House as well. Certainly a ghost house. The star coins are all randomly placed things that it seems like nobody would find on their first attempt. Like seriously, for the 3rd star coin, you have to go through a door to get to the lower area of the level, hit a P-switch, then go back through the same door you just did. And now we are opened up to the path of the star coin. Like it's just extremely weird in my opinion. The normal exit for this level is really places if it were a secret exit also. Basically you have to hit a P-switch to open up all the walls to reveal a hidden door. Oh, and speaking of secret exits, there is one in this level, which I have to admit is a pretty cool spot. Just farther up from where you got the 3rd star coin that I talked about earlier. Overall though, this level kinda sucks. 6-A is the level that introduces the gimmick of the lava rising, and it's pretty cool. Feels like this level is a lot shorter than some other levels, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I like the 3rd star coin placement, where you have to jump to the left to land on the roof of the platform you were just on. My only criticism with this level is it feels like it's literally impossible to miss the 2nd star coin. Like seriously, what was that placement? 5-2 is an auto-scroller bone coaster level, but way spoiled. This is actually a pretty cool level idea. I was just spoiled by the bone coaster level in Weeb, and now I want that back. What we got here isn't bad, far from it in fact, it's just I prefer the bone coaster in Wii by a lot. It's decently challenging though for this game's standards, which I appreciate. The 3rd star coin took a few attempts to get. Basically you have to time a bomb throw to break the blocks to give you access to the star coin, and then you have to get back on the coaster before the rising lava kills you. 6SB is a decently cool level. Its gimmick is about platforms that move you up and down, and it works because there are a lot of platforms that will automatically switch the platform to moving down if you hit it. So it becomes a fun and creative level. It isn't super hard, but sometimes that isn't actually a bad thing. 6-3 is a weird level to say the least. It's an underground level with the gimmick of those mushroom platforms that extend as we've seen them throughout the game. But what makes this weirder is that there's what appears to be snow in this level. Not only is this weird to begin with, keep in mind this level is placed in the lava world. I honestly don't know, it's really weird, but whatever. The level itself is alright. It doesn't have anything crazy that we haven't seen before, but it isn't a bad level. 6-S Tower has to be one of my favorite levels in the game. So basically his gimmick is hitting question mark blocks to temporarily stop the burners from working. This makes for some really fun level design where you have to strategically plan when to hit the question mark blocks. Oh, and also, my favorite part of this level, the second and third star coins look like this and this. They literally look like that 1-1-1 Kaiser level from Super Mario Maker 2. But these sections are surprisingly very easy, despite how they look, just as long as you're patient. And now for everyone's favorite, the Reznor fight. This fight is really cool. Oh wait, it's just a rotation of 8 blocks now. Extremely hard, moving on. 6-4 is a... Bro, it actually has a unique theming, that's crazy! Jokes aside, this level actually has a unique theming, as it's a spooky level, but it isn't a ghost house, thank Luigi. This level has multiple lifts while also using the birds from New Super Mario Bros. DS. The second star coin is locked behind a vine, which is always annoying to see, but the rest of the level is pretty alright. 6-5 is a cool level that relies on the fireballs that Bowser shoots from a machine, not Bowser himself. It can be pretty fun to dodge these, as well as the spike balls sometimes, making for a fun level. It also has seesaws with spikes on the sides, so the spikes roll in whichever direction you're standing on, which is pretty cool. 6-S Bowser's Castle is the last level of the main game, so spoilers ahead, you've been warned. 3, 2, 1, go. The first half of this level is honestly just a pretty basic castle level. There's not too much to note here. The second half of the level, on the other hand, is really cool. It has all the Koopalings in a clown car, and every once in a while they all combine their power to make a flashing light thing that will hurt Mario. However, if Mario is hiding behind a wall, he doesn't get hit. It's kinda like that one level from Donkey Kong Country Returns with the tsunamis. This part of the level is really cool, having a challenging star coin where you have to time it correctly so you can wait on a donut block and still have enough time to get back to the wall. But once you get past this part of the level, you've reached the final boss. What? That was the best boss fight ever! I'm obviously joking. We'll get to being annoyed about that when you get to that. But the actual final boss consists of... Holy heck, Bowser is big, I was not expecting that! In all seriousness, the boss consists of you jumping from platform to platform while Big Bowser claws them out of existence. It isn't a bad idea for a boss fight, but it's way too easy. Like seriously, I don't think I've ever died during this section. And I played this game originally when I was like 7. The credits have some points. I'm not going to talk about the credits because did anyone actually pay attention to them? Here, if you're that angry over that decision, here's a sped up version of the credits. Then I got really scared because I realized I only have 1 star instead of the 2 I was supposed to have at this point until I checked and realized I completely skipped 2 of the star coins to 4-3. And that's it for the base game. Time for the post-game content. Again, spoilers if you haven't done it yet, you've been warned. Stardust 1 does a good job showing what the theming of this world will be like. It's a bit easier than the previous few worlds because the final boss was already defeated, and everything overall feels a bit more chill, which I like. This is built upon further with the fact that the first level is at nighttime. The level itself is nothing crazy. It has some P-switches that move on some blocks, but that's about it. The moon coins are pretty easy. No idea why they decided to change them to moon coins in post-game, but I actually enjoy it for some reason. Stardust 2 is a level with a simple gimmick of the lifts on tracks. As I said, the gimmicks in this world are less intense because it's supposed to be more chill. So just because the gimmick is a bit basic doesn't mean that the level is bad. I like the moon coin placements, all of them are pretty easy, but none of them are extremely easy either. But now we got the best part of the entire game. Time to play as Luigi! Stardust 3 bumps up the difficulty just a bit, being another spooky level. It also has a lot of womps in it. One of the moon coins is locked behind an invisible block vine, but it's actually a respectable spot, so I can't complain too much. The level's pretty cool. Even though for the second moon coin, you're supposed to go onto a platform that spawns another platform to get up to it. But when I jumped on that platform, nothing spawned, so it confused me. So that's one flaw of the level. Stardust 4 is a beach level auto-scroller. It's for the most part as boring as you'd expect it to be, but I do enjoy the second moon coin. It basically requires you to bring a mini mushroom to the halfway point of the level, which is easier said than done given that there's a cheap chop. And not only that, it actually provides a mini mushroom at the start of the level. 3 Tower, take notes. But besides that, this level is nothing to write home about. Stardust 5 is the last Lakitu level in the game. Thank Luigi, did I mention that I don't like Lakitu yet? This of course makes it an annoying level. Nintendo would obviously never make a Lakitu level if at least 2 star/moon coins revolving around stealing Lakitu's cloud. It's the worst level in this world, but it isn't the end of the world, I guess. And never mind, Stardust 6 is worse. It's an underwater auto-scroller. At least it doesn't have bloopers, I guess? That means the worst level in the game achievement still belongs to that level. This level didn't have anything I enjoyed about it, it's just boring. I know this section has been very short so far, there just isn't a lot to say about the majority of the levels here. Stardust 7 is finally not a bad level, unlike the last 3. It's a volcano level with a lot of fire enemies to avoid. Once again, it's a pretty traditional level without any real gimmicks, but I still enjoy it quite a lot. It only takes a few attempts to complete all 3 moon coins. Unfortunately, one of said moon coins is locked behind a vine, but at the very least it gives access to a hard sub-area that you can attempt infinite times in one level. Stardust Castle is in the competition for being my favorite level in the game. It's an entire level that follows the gimmick with the Koopaling light thing we saw in 6 Bowser's Castle. This creates some really fun challenges. In particular, the third moon coin is very challenging and fun. It's a tight time limit where you have to go onto the rope above you, go to the far left, drop back down onto the snake block, and get to the wall all within the span of about 5 seconds. After this you have a repeat of the Bowser fight from World 6, as this is the last level in the game, but this time it's against Dry Bowser. I know, crazy change. I'm pretty sure the only other change is that the platforms move slightly, and I mean slightly faster. Like, I had no idea until I looked it up. Overall, my favorite level in this game would either be this one or 3-B. And it's time for the grand reveal. How many lives did I have at the end of my playthrough? Make your guesses in the comments. Reveal in 3, 2, 1, 325 lives. We'll be changing that to maximum life so we can get the 5-star save file, but that's all we have for the main campaign of this game. Now we just have the side mode left, Coin Rush. This is where I ended my 4th or 5th live streams of this game, so this will be my final reminder before the end of the video to subscribe. So with that being said, let's get on to Coin Rush. Spoilers over. I made my 5th and final stream of this game purely dedicated to Coin Rush, which I previously never really got to play much, so let's see how good it is. One thing to note is I did not go for the star coins in these packs, simply because that's not what the goal of the mode is. The idea is simply to try to beat the levels with as many coins as possible. I'll start off with the basic non-themed ones. The mushroom, flower, star packs were all that was originally in the game. So essentially the original idea of the mode was that you got 3 randomly selected levels from a set of worlds, depending on which pack you picked, and throughout those 3 levels you have to try to beat them with as many coins as possible. On top of this, you only have a 100-second time limit, so you have to make sure to be quick. This can be a fun distraction, but nothing too crazy for me honestly. The mushroom pack gives you levels from worlds 1, 2, and mushroom, flower pack gives you levels from worlds 3, 4, and flower, the star pack gives you worlds from 5, 6, and star. So you get to choose which one to play and grind to get the most coins possible. However, my single biggest criticism with this mode is that it only saves your highest amount of coins overall, not in every individual pack. This means that if I get a high score in the mushroom pack, but then proceed to get a higher amount of coins in the star pack, my record in the mushroom pack will not be saved, as it only saves your highest score overall, which is in this game, the star pack. This is really stupid and makes the whole mode less fun as a whole in my opinion, but it is what it is I guess. The same thing still applies even when we get to the more gimmicky themed packs,
which, speaking of which, let's do that. So basically, after the game was released, Nintendo made paid DLC with more theme packs for this game, each being custom-made levels specifically for this mode. Now, instead of randomly selecting levels from the base game, we play 3 chosen levels Nintendo made specifically for this pack. I prefer this a lot to the original 3 packs. My only big criticism with this idea is what they said about your highest overall score still applies with these packs. Seriously, why Nintendo? And some of these packs you'll see start to drift away from the coin collecting idea a little bit and more emphasizes you beating the hard levels that you made. We'll get to you when you get to you. So now I'll actually start covering each of these packs individually. We start off with the Gold Rush pack, which does a really good job showing us what Coin Rush is like sometimes. All 3 of these levels are pretty basic. The first one is a basic sky level with a lot of coin rings. The second one is a beach level that is on a ship. It kind of acts as an auto-scroller, but it also gives you the option to just dive into the water and swim to the end if you don't want to deal with it. However, I don't consider auto-scrollers to be too bad in this mode, as you are still occupied with the task of collecting as many coins as you can. Course 3 is a tower level, making use of the golden flower by having you destroy brick blocks so you can progress through the level. Oh yeah, the gold flower can actually be a kind of cool power-up in this mode, finally. Overall, this pack's pretty cool, but basic nonetheless. Next up we have the Coin Challenge Pack A. It starts off with a very nicely decorated level with a lot of colored pipes and semi-solids, making it almost so that you can choose which path to take to complete the level, which I enjoy. Course 2 of this pack is similar to that of Course 1 with the gimmick of platforms that move up and down, but this time you have to complete it in the time limit while still collecting a lot of coins, making it very intense and fun for me personally. Course 3 is a level that uses Sledge Bros, which didn't appear all in the base game for some stupid reason. It's a pretty normal level, but it's cool to finally see the appearance of these enemies. Next up we have the Nerve Rack pack, which I am talking about with the standard that this one is meant to be difficult since the levels here seem to be pretty difficulty over coin collection. The first one is a simple P-switch run level, which in theory is pretty easy, but can take a while if you're stupid like me and take several minutes to realize that the arrow leading to the next P-switch exists. The second level revolves around the gimmick of bouncing off of Koopa Troopas to stay alive. This is a really cool gimmick for a level, as it's really fun and intense. However, Nintendo doesn't get to use it much as it is too difficult of a gimmick for normal levels. However, since this Coin Rush pack is literally designed for harder levels, it fits perfectly here. I'm a huge fan of this one, and this pack in general actually. The third quest here has a similar gimmick, but this time you bounce off of bullet bills. There's one major difference this time around, it's a cannon level. This makes it so that you have no breathing room, making it a 20-ish second run of non-stop action. Given the difficulty this is supposed to represent, I really like this level. The Gold Mushroom pack consists of 3 pretty basic levels without huge gimmicks, so there's not too much for me to say about any of them. One's a sky level with mushroom platforms, one's a snow level, and the other's an underground level with some mushroom platforms that raise and lower as you stand on them. That third level's dealing with a little bit of a gimmick, but it's nothing we didn't see like 3 times in the base game. Next up we have the Coin Challenge Pack B. Course 1 is a ghost house, which is even more annoying here than the base game since you have to find the solution under a time limit. The second level is a sky level with ropes that make you jump really high as well as some bullet bills. Course 3 is a volcano level with the meteor gimmick, which works really well here since it opens up some pathways to get certain coins easier. Next up we have the Gold Classics pack, which is one of my favorite packs here. Basically all 3 levels are references to classic Mario levels. Course 1 is a reference to the original Super Mario Bros. 1's 1-1 and 1-2. Course 2 is a reference to Super Mario Bros. 3, 1-1 and 1-5. And Course 3 is a reference to 1-4 from Super Mario Bros. 1. I like how the background is just a really basic blue sky with nothing else there, really making it feel old and classic. Also, I find it really funny how you can kill Bowser with a single gold fireball. This is overall a really good pack with some really cool references. Coin Challenge Pack C is another one with 3 levels without too much of gimmicks. Course 1 is a beach level with some spikes, Course 2 is an underground desert level, and Course 3 is another level with this game's version of the Bone Coaster, which is really cool here, similar to the boat level. Next up is the Platform Panic Pack. This one starts off with a level with a lot of moving lifts as well as peepas to avoid. Course 2 is a snake block level, and Course 3 is another bone coaster level, this time with a lot of bullet bills. This pack confused me a bit, as it was pretty easy for me, but it got a hard rating. Whatever though, the levels here are still pretty decent. Next up we have the Mystery Adventures pack. Course 1 is a lava level that is built like an underground desert level. It's kind of weird. The second level is kind of cool, where you have to stand on question mark blocks to take you through the level. And the third one has an ominous feeling with some bombs and brick blocks. Yeah, I can see why this was called the Mystery Pack. All 3 levels here have pretty unique theming. Now though, it's on to the infamous Impossible Pack. That I am so good at this game that I did it completely legit, I cheated. All 3 levels here are insanely difficult, taking me roughly 10 tries to beat each one, but for this I have to beat all 3 of them consecutively. Course 1 starts off with a beach level and then goes on to a sky level where you have to move the lift thing to the right, while avoiding an absolute ton of enemies at the same time, which makes it extremely hard. Course 2 is all about making really precise wall jumps with the fire bars everywhere, so you have to be really careful. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to experience this one too much because I struggled to get past the first level without dying, and it's ridiculously easy without the white Snooki suit because it makes you invincible to fire bars. Course 3 has rising poison as well as a lot of saws, leading to that of very precise jumps. So yeah, if you want a good score, you have to do all of that without dying. It's ridiculously hard. I tried for like 20 minutes on stream, but then I gave up because I was still dying on the first level most of the time. And that's it. I've covered everything there is to cover in this game. Besides the multiplayer, which I can't cover because I can't get footage for it on an emulator, but I'll just talk about it real quick. It makes the experience way better than it would be in single player, but that's just the case for almost every Mario game that has the option. However, the multiplayer here is nothing crazy that we haven't seen in other Mario games before, so I don't care for it that much, but it does enhance the experience by a lot, so if you want to do that, go for it. But New Super Mario Bros. Wii, New Super Mario Bros. U, 3D World, etc. They all have better multiplayers in my opinion. Also, that section and a few more sections in this next paragraph-ish are not scripted, so sorry if I'm acting like a little bit more unsure about what I'm saying, but yeah. So it's time for a final score. I'm going to start by putting every game I review on a tier list, so I'll start with this one. With everything considered, I evaluated everything I mentioned, and overall I give this game a 7.7 out of 10. This will get it a C+ on our tier list. I was actually expecting to rate this game lower than I did, and understandably also. It has quite a few flaws that should have never been problems. Like the fact that there are no new power-ups in this game besides the gold flowers still pisses me off 10 years later. And other stupid decisions like the one to make Fresnor the boss for every tower in the game is just ridiculous. But I actually found myself enjoying and talking positively about a lot more levels than I thought I would. As much as I don't want to admit it because of my known hatred for this game, the truth is that I enjoyed my playthrough I did live on stream. And at the end of the day, it is a Mario game. If it was a game from another smaller series with lower standards, I think my points against this game would be a lot less harsh than they were. Unfortunately though, the graphics are very meh. They're like the same as every other New Super Mario Bros. Game. And the music is just the same as well. Like, fun fact, you probably didn't even notice this, but for the entire video, except for 3 songs for the world intros, I used all of my music from the New Super Mario Bros. Wii OST. And chances are, most of you guys didn't even notice. So, just saying, if you guys didn't notice that, like, I'm just trying to prove a point here, so I can't see myself giving it a B though because of all the flaws that it does have that no other New Super Mario Bros. Games have. So in conclusion, it's definitely the worst New Super Mario Bros. Game, but I didn't hate the game quite as much as I thought it would. Well, that's it. If you genuinely watched the entire video that I currently estimate to be about an hour long, and these 16 pages of script, thank you. Seriously, you're the best. Well, with that being said guys, this video is going to be done. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!